The cold rain fell hard against the cracked windows of Sarah's tiny New York apartment. The dim light from a single flickering bulb barely lit the room as she sat hunched over her kitchen table. Bills were scattered in front of her, some still unopened. Her phone screen glowed back at her with a cruel truth. $42.17 left in her account. Payday wasn't for another 4 days. Her chest tightened. Another email from her landlord sat in her inbox. Its subject line screaming, "Final notice." She didn't even have the courage to open it this time. But at 28, Sarah had done everything she thought was right. She had graduated from college, gotten a steady job at a law firm, and even managed to rent her own place. But despite all her efforts, she was drowning. Month after month, her paycheck vanished almost instantly. Rent, bills, groceries, credit card payments. It was as if she were stuck on a treadmill, running hard but going nowhere. Sarah sighed, staring at her reflection in the black screen of her TV. Her eyes looked hollow. How did it come to this? She whispered to herself. Every morning she tried to keep up appearances. She'd stop at her favorite coffee shop on the way to work and grab a $5 latte because it made her feel normal, like her coworkers. Every night she scrolled through Instagram, watching influencers in London and Los Angeles living dream lives. Vacations in Bali, designer handbags, champagne smiles. But deep down, Sarah knew the truth. She was broke. Worse, she was buried under a mountain of debt. Then came the moment that broke her. One rainy Friday evening, she stood in the checkout line of a grocery store, clutching a loaf of bread and a carton of milk. As she handed over her debit card, the cashier gave her a tight, awkward smile. "I'm sorry, it's been declined. Do you have another card?" Heat rushed to Sarah's cheeks. She could feel the eyes of people in line burning into her back. Shaking her head, she grabbed her things and left the store empty-handed. By the time she got home, tears were streaming down her face. She collapsed onto the floor of her apartment and sobbed like a child. "This isn't living," she whispered, staring at the cracked ceiling above her. "This is just surviving, and I can't do this anymore." That night, something inside Sarah snapped, not in anger, but in resolve. She pulled an old notebook from the back of her closet, brushed off the dust, and flipped it open. On the first blank page, she scrawled 3 sentences in big shaky letters. "I will break this cycle. I will destroy my debt. I will take control of my money and my life." The next morning, she began her plan. Not a perfect plan, but a plan nonetheless. She downloaded a free budgeting app and forced herself to look at where every single dollar was going. What she found shocked her. The daily $5 lattes, the $70 monthly gym membership she hadn't used in months, the multiple streaming services she barely watched. "No wonder I'm broke," she muttered. Sarah made some hard decisions that day. She canceled her subscriptions, swapped expensive takeout dinners for home-cooked meals, and started making coffee at home. Even her coworkers noticed the changes. "Saving for a mansion, Sarah," one teased as she unpacked her lunch in the office break room. She forced a smile but said nothing. Deep down, she wasn't saving for a mansion. She was saving her future. 2 months passed. For the first time in years, Sarah managed to save $800. It wasn't much, but it felt like breathing after years of drowning. Just as she started to feel hope, life threw her a curveball. One icy January morning, her car wouldn't start. The mechanic's verdict was brutal. A $1,200 repair bill. The old Sarah would have swiped her credit card without hesitation. But the new Sarah hesitated. She didn't want to fall back into the same trap. Instead, she swallowed her pride and asked a coworker for rides. She took the bus, even when it meant standing in freezing weather. On weekends, she picked up extra shifts at a local coffee shop. It was exhausting, humiliating at times. There were nights she cried herself to sleep, tempted to give up and go back to her old ways. But every time she felt weak, she opened her notebook and read those 3 sentences again. And "I will break this cycle. I will destroy my debt. I will take control of my money and my life." 6 weeks later, she walked into the mechanic's shop and paid for the repair in full, with cash. Something changed in Sarah that day. She realized this wasn't just about money. It was about her mindset. She started listening to personal finance podcasts on her walks. One line stuck with her. "Debt is a thief. It steals your dreams, your energy, your future. Take it back." Sarah began journaling every morning. "I am in control. I deserve financial freedom. I am building my dream life." 6 months later, an unexpected opportunity arose. Her boss offered her a chance to learn basic bookkeeping for a possible promotion. The old Sarah would have said, "I'm not good with numbers." But the new Sarah said, "Teach me." She worked hard, stayed late, and in 3 months she was promoted to junior accountant with a $12,000 raise. 2 years after that rainy night in her apartment, Sarah's life was unrecognizable. She had paid off $38,000 in debt. She had built a $20,000 emergency fund. She even took her dream trip to London and paid for it in cash. Standing on Tower Bridge, staring at the glittering city lights, she felt tears in her eyes. Not of sadness this time, but of pure joy. "Freedom," she whispered, "feels better than any designer bag."